Hello, and I'm calling to order this meeting of the Council of the Town of Oakville, and a special meeting for 3 p.m. May 19th. Madam Clerk, do we have regrets?
We have no regrets.
All right. I believe that we are missing Councillor Chisholm and Councillor O'Meara, unless my screen tells me incorrectly, but we have quorum. And Council, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Madam Clerk, I see none. Would two of us like to move and second resolving into committee of the whole? Councillor Duddit, Councillor Lischina, thank you. Any objection? There being none, that carries. The item before us is the receipt of the item 4.1 from the May 15th, 2023 Planning and Development Council meeting. And the CAO has a report, and I now offer the floor to the CAO.
Mayor, members of council, staff has spent a considerable amount of time evaluating the request that you had made of us on May 15th, and I can assure you your request has not been considered lightly. The purpose of the report that was on the agenda on Monday was to provide you a context, because if you recall, the report that followed was relative to the various planning legislation that was being changed by the province. So the purpose of it was really to reassure you that the choices that this council has made in terms of moving forward on how you're going to grow and manage that growth were good decisions, and they were sound decisions. And so that was the purpose of the report being on the agenda. I would agree, and I think we've said clearly in the report that the language perhaps we used reflect too closely the frustration that probably all of us are feeling about the constant change in legislation and approaches that the province is taking. And on reflection, we could have softened that language. So I do acknowledge that that is something that we heard clearly from you, and we will certainly be mindful as we move forward in reports. The second element that when I looked back at the tape and went through it, I had the impression from council that you had taken those comments personally, as if we were somehow insinuating that it was council that was taking those types of positions. That is by no means what we meant at all. In fact, I can reassure you that I know that many staff members here at the town are actually very proud of what this council is doing and has always done. And by no means was that meant to infer that any of those adjectives that were used were a reflection of your actions whatsoever. So I wanted to make sure that was absolutely clear. So in evaluating how we could move forward, because you now have a report that's actually on your agenda, you need to dispose of it in some way, or you have to deal with it in some way. So in evaluating how we went forward, the concern and why we have continued to recommend that you receive it with some tweak to the wording is that it is essentially important that your staff, your professional staff, who have to stand in front of many tribunals, that they are without repute, they are fair, they are candid, and they are impartial, which is the most important thing. And the challenge of trying to edit a report is that we may inadvertently change, or it could be argued that we've changed those opinions in some way. And so we were concerned about that risk for council and the impartiality of your professional staff in going forward. There were also elements that you'd have two staff reports that were out there creating a bit of confusion. So that was a concern. Legal has confirmed for us that there was nothing in the report that that predetermines any of our planning cases, so that it was not a concern, and that was taken off the table. And so for all of those reasons, we felt the best way to go forward was to recommend to you, and that is the recommendation of staff, that you approve the report. I'm sorry, not approve the report. Let me get my language correct. That we change the wording slightly on the report so that the information, and only the information, in item 4.1 be received. Legal has made it clear, and it's identified in the report, that if you're receiving information, it does not mean that you're endorsing it. It's just you've simply heard it. So for
Madam
those
CEO,
reasons, we've recommended.
could I ask you if maybe you misspoke. You said, I believe you said, change the words in the report slightly, but I think you meant change the words slightly in the recommendation.
I did. Thank you very much, Mayor Burton. That's exactly what I meant.
Okay. So, Council, there is a motion on the floor to receive, which was made by Councillor Knoll at the last meeting, and that is what was referred here. And I see a hand from Councillor Elgar. Councillor Elgar?
Thank you, through Mayor Burton, to Ms. Closey. Jane, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought council speaks through resolution and take direction from staff only from council. So when council gave a direction to modify the wording, there was a couple of words there like foolhardy, thwart attempts, otherwise is a disservice to the community. The reports are written for council. We asked that those words be taken out. And now staff's role, I thought, was to take the direction from council. But I guess what you're saying is, no, they're not. In this case, and I've never seen it before in 22 years, where staff are saying, no, we will not do that. We will not take those words out. Am I reading it correctly? Is that what I'm hearing?
What you're hearing is that we are recommending to you that you continue to receive the report for information, that for us to take a report back, which we have never done before, and actually rewrite that report is not a recommended approach at all, because it has an implication on the impartiality of your staff. We take direction from council in lots of cases. I can give you, we just went through the strategic plan process, for example, where you had lots of changes in the wording, but it was not a report of a recommendation. It was your decision that came out of that report, or that piece of information that you're then doing. In this particular case, you've actually asked us to take a report and rewrite that report. And that I don't think this council has ever done before. I never have had that request in all my time in municipal government.
So was that an illegal motion that was put through to revert back to modify about 3 words?
Councillor, maybe a better word would be, it was an unfortunate motion. It has implications that are not good for us in terms of, look, I put it this way, council's decisions earn respect at tribunals because of the way we listen to everything that people tell us, and then we make our own decision based on what we see as right.
And the majority of council did that, correct?
No.
Oh, okay.
We never, the distinction here, sir, is that we have never told anybody, you can't tell us that. We just hear whatever they say, and then we move receipt, and then we make a decision.
Thank you for that.
We have stood here and had people say ugly, horrible, defaming, and demeaning things to us, and then moved a motion to receive their information and that of everyone else who came to us. We've never told anybody what words to use.
I thank you. That clarifies it. A recorded vote, but I'm sure we don't need to waste much time on this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, a recorded vote has been called for. Councillor Giddings?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It came to us as a consent item. Would this have been avoided if it had come through as a discussion item, Madam CAO?
No, Councillor Giddings, it would not have made any difference.
You wouldn't have provided us any opportunity for that?
I beg your pardon?
It wouldn't have provided any opportunity to hash it out a little further then?
No.
It
remains that we have never asked anybody to take back or change their words. This would be quite the first. Councillor Haslett.
I'm sorry, was Councillor Giddings done? Because I wasn't sure if he was done. Yeah.
I
Okay.
wasn't sure either, but he stopped and you popped up. Councillor Giddings, the councillor and I are concerned that you may have something else to say.
So I appreciate the acknowledgement regarding the concerns that were raised, and that future reports will consider our feedback. Words matter, and they leave an impression that can be lasting. And so for clarity, it is inaccurate to leave an impression that an individual or council would, quote, thwart growth, unquote, or, quote, wish it away, unquote. The facts are we supported and are committed to the housing pledge. We supported the need for a plan to achieve our 2031 and our 2051 targets. And we have asked for a build out projection in the growth nodes to ensure we are on track to achieve our commitment. We get up every day thoughtful of the importance of our responsibilities in making the decisions for our community today and in the future. I will not, quote, receive information or a document that implies otherwise. It is commentary. It is not professional advice.
Thank you, Councillor Hazlet-Thiel. I'm going to put the vote. Madam Clerk, would you please conduct the roll call vote? You will vote yes to receive and no to refuse to receive.
Mayor Burton,
Yes.
Councillor Adams,
Yes.
Councillor Duddick,
No.
Councillor Elgar,
No.
Councillor Giddings,
No.
Councillor Grant,
Yes.
Councillor Hazlet-Thiel,
No.
Councillor Knoll,
Yes.
Councillor Lischina,
Yes.
is Councillor Longo on the call?
Yes, he is.
Councillor Longo,
Yes.
Councillor McNeese,
No.
Councillor Nanda,
No.
Councillor O'Meara. Oh, he's not on the call, sorry. And Councillor Shi.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. The motion is, the report is received. I need a motion to rise and report now, please. Councillor Knoll. Any objection to the motion to rise and report? Madam Clerk, there being none, that carries. I rise and report that council has met and made a decision on discussion item 4.1 as noted by the clerk. It would now be in order for a mover and seconder for consideration and reading of the confirmatory bylaw. Councillor Shi and Councillor Lischina, thank you. Any objection? Madam Clerk, there being none, the bylaw is read, considered, and passed. Thank you, everybody. It's been a busy week, and we've done a lot together this week. And that ends the meeting. Goodbye.